Hello and welcome to the Light Beam Hour. My name is Cecily MacArthur, and I am very excited to be here with you tonight to share with you on the Light Beam Hour and with different guests that I've had over the last year. And we are dedicated to bringing you teachers from all over the world who have incredible messages to offer to help people around the world to learn and grow and become closer to Spirit. So today we have an amazing guest. My guest today is Debbie, and I should have asked you about how to pronounce your last name, Debbie.
It's Teichmann.
Teichmann. All right, thank you. It just occurred to me. I was like, I didn't want to mispronounce that. Debbie Teichmann is a creative connector and visionary. I love that. And she celebrates each day with love, joy, and gratitude. She resides in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's close by to me where I'm now in Sedona, Arizona, and that's a whole other story. We're going to do another program about that move. And that she has been happily married for 36 years to her husband, Jeff, and a mother of 3 terrific boys, Eric, Rob, and Tom, and a new grandma to the joy of her life. And West Molly said 10 years old, Debbie, a workaholic, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, Debbie, a workaholic entrepreneur, she stepped off of her stress-filled hamster wheel onto a path of self-discovery. During this beautiful journey of awakening, tapping play was birthed, and Debbie has been lovingly nurturing new children, new characters, Annabelle, Billy, and Franny. Debbie and the gang are so excited with an opportunity for families to connect through singing and tapping. And she's going to share her experience of learning and how this tapping works and how we can use it with our families and all, even big people like us, and enjoy it. I've truly enjoyed it myself, and it's like, I'm not a kid, but this is cool stuff. So, all right, welcome, Debbie, to our wonderful evening tonight.
Thank you so very much. What a nice introduction. I appreciate it.
Well, you have done some amazing work here, and I'm very excited about our topic tonight and your tapping play book and songs and happy rainbow days, and we're going to have a lot of fun. This is going to be a great sharing for everyone. So I wanted to start with just having you talk a little bit more about yourself and what you went through, your journey in the last 10 years, and how you came to creating such a magical book and song.
Okay. Well, I will kind of start at the beginning because the journey in the last 10 years has been so different than the previous part, but I've been so much more connected to flow, and I think that's actually part of my story that I really like to share. But I grew up in the Chicago area, and I was in a very loving, nurturing family, and was a goal setter from a very, very early age, and definitely somehow picked up that inner critic that so many of us do along the way. Whatever the goal that was set by the outside world, I always wanted to do it better or make it a higher goal, and just never felt very much internal peace because I was always thinking I could do it better or make it better or be better or whatever. So in 1980, we moved out to the Phoenix area and owned and operated the largest office coffee service company, and was in the hamster wheel. I think that describes it perfectly. The workaholic, trying to balance family, having children, run a business, and getting pulled in so many directions, and really not having time to for myself, and also to really discover myself internally. So as time goes on and the children grow and so on, I had an opportunity through what I thought was the end of the world. We had sold our coffee service company, and I had been working for a distribution company, and I lost my job, and that was in 2002. And I sat on the edge of the bed the next day, and I was like, I had no identity without a job. And I thought, boy, that's bizarre. I mean, that's crazy. And I also did not have that internal peace. And that was, you know how they say the silver lining, you know, in the dark cloud is that was the start of my spiritual journey. I thought, there has got to be more. I mean, I looked totally glued together. It wasn't that I had an unhappy or unfulfilling life. I had a great husband, wonderful kids, but I just didn't have that inner peace, that beautiful balance that you find as you peel the layers of the onion. So that started me on trying to discover who I was, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do when I grew up. And
I think a lot of people can relate to that, Debbie. Particularly when you've lost your job like that, and you have the opportunity to recreate yourself. That's great.
It really was the best thing that could have possibly happened. Of course, the day it happened, I thought the world was ending, but somehow you work your way through those things, But so I started in baby steps and started to do some meditation groups and seminars and trying to quiet my ticker tape that ran through my head 24/7, which took a lot of training because it just was nonstop. My head just was constantly going, and all of a sudden, all these things started to work, and then I decided to really make a commitment to myself, and I found a wonderful life coach, and that was. If there's anything I can impart to people is you are worth it. Spend what you need to find yourself, because I had no idea I was so far from, I don't want to say off balance, because to the outer world I look totally glued together, but just not balanced within myself, not in that beautiful core, and where you're in the flow. And that was really interesting as we started to peel the layers of the onion, shall we say. And that's when I was introduced to EFT. So that was a very pivotal time for me. So I started using EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, and journaling, and the results for me were phenomenal. It enabled me, it gave me a tool that I could, do myself, and I got to unload all of life's baggage, which we pick up. I mean, that's just part of the, that's just part of the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And Deb, I'm going to stop you for a second, because I have two comments. First of all, I want to thank you for plugging life coaching. As a coach myself, I think that I really do. I believe that too, and I've had a coach for 10 years myself personally, and what you're able to achieve, and thank you for the testimony of understanding how valuable that can be. So I really appreciate that. And can we just back up a little bit, because I do appreciate all of the releasing you did with EFT, but I think we need to define it more. Can you help us I use EFT myself in my practice and with my clients, but would you tell us more from how you were introduced to it and what it is and how you use it?
Okay. Well, it's based on ancient Oriental practices of acupuncture, but without needles, okay? And what you are doing is you are tapping with your fingers on different acupuncture points which are connected to meridians. So the way I explain it, now first of all, I want to make it very clear I do not have a degree in EFT, but my degree is in usage of EFT, and I am an expert in that. So, and that is, we are, and it is more and more is coming out on this. We are energy. We are energy beings. Okay, and when we have events in our life, and an event in our life is in our reality, not anyone else's reality. So what might be a major hiccup for you might not be a major hiccup for me, but in your reality it is. So when we have these events and we take them on, sometimes just talking about them is not enough. It's still being held in the cells or the energy field. So EFT is this very simple, wonderful modality, and there are many other energy modalities where you can tap on different acupuncture points and go through a set of points, talk about the problem or talk about the event, and release it not only in verbally, but also you're releasing it at an energy or emotional level. So it allows it to move out. So in other words, it's like you're not just, it's like a sliver. You're not just pulling the top of the sliver out. You've got a big tweezers that pulls it out right down to the core. So
that's a great way of describing it. I love that with the tweezer, because it really does. It actually eliminates the negative energy in your body by releasing it and from the meridian points. So that's great. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, that's so funny. That came to me about 3 weeks ago. Everything I see is visual. When you see the book, obviously I live in a very interesting little visual world of characters, and it's a happy place, So
it's a very happy place.
But anyway, that visual came to me as clear as a bell, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's so powerful, because think of a sliver. If you only get the top of it out, it might heal over, but eventually it works its way to the surface again. So you end up having to deal with it again, and that's emotion. A lot of times we unload a certain amount of it, but we still have it down at a root level. So the EFT, my coach was phenomenal at helping create the right statement, just helping to make sure that the statement, because sometimes you're so in the muck, you're not sure even what you're feeling totally, so helping to create the statement, step me through it, but then really put an emphasis on recreating positive statements and tapping those in, okay? So unloading the negative, creating the positive. So I was very, very disciplined with everything I do, from not like nuts disciplined, but for myself, I wanted to be disciplined. The daily journaling was so phenomenal. The EFT, working on something each day. Every time I had a new event that I was feeling some uncomfortableness around, I would tap it off right away, so I wasn't even taking it in. Taught it to my boys. Wonderful tool. And that's one day when I was working with one of my boys, I thought, this is such an incredible thing for children to learn. If they learn this, they wouldn't end up with all this baggage and having to lose themselves and then come back and find themselves. And boy, isn't that the best gift we could give this new generation, so that they feel balanced and happy and centered, and that's the normal feeling, So I did it was about 3 years into my dumping baggage, and I dumped numerous trainfuls of it.
Can I ask you, Debbie, how old were your kids when they were actually using it?
They were just going into high school. You know, I've got them. They're 3 years apart. So I'm thinking back. They were junior high, which is a really confusing time, and then I had a couple in high school. So I wish I had known it when they were younger. You know, but anyway, it was something they ended up. At first, they thought, oh, Mom, you're so lame. But then, when it worked, they started to embrace it, and it was powerful for them. And
it's great that you did that, and that you were brave enough to get them to do that. I think that's wonderful.
Right, and I have one who has had a lot of health issues, and I did send him to the same life coach at one point, and he was able to peel away some very, very deep-seated. Well, he actually thought because he had all these health issues that he was broken, and coming from the loving family that we've created, and how it took my breath away when I heard that statement, because I was like, oh my gosh, you just have no idea how children are viewing things. The way we view it is totally different than the way they're viewing it. And I mean, he was, so that I really feel we couldn't have done anything more to support him as he was going through these challenges. But in his little mind, and high school mind at that point, he considered himself broken. And I thought, wow, thank goodness we're handling this now. Because, if you feel broken, that's going to affect you your entire life,
Absolutely.
in all phases. So, we all see situations with very little ones where the child is crying and, in a store or something, and the mom will say, oh, shake it off. It's not a big deal. Well, sometimes these little things are big deals, and they keep adding up and keep adding up. So it's hard to look at it. If you're not looking at it through their eyes, you might not be seeing what a big deal it is for them. So.
Well, good for you to be working with your children and being able to recognize that and providing a tool like EFT, because it never occurred to me to use it with children, and I think that's wonderful that you were able to utilize that and help them, particularly your one son who had a lot of adults grow up feeling broken, and I think that a lot of people could relate to that. It does start in childhood, and most people would not address it as a child, and have to do something when they get to be older, and do a lot of tapping.
Right.
So continue to tell us then what happened for you as you went through and cleared layers, and how did all this lead to the book?
Well, about 3 years into, doing the EFT and becoming more and more clear, and so happy with the results I was getting on using EFT and also with the life coach and with the journaling and so on. I was in the shower one morning, and just a normal shower like any other morning, and all of a sudden I hear this song, and I'm thinking, who has a radio outside my window? I thought, how bizarre, a children's song. And I'm thinking, and then I start hearing the lyrics, and then in my head is a little, fantasy head, I guess, but I start seeing these lyrics with the tapping points lighting up as the lyrics are going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a children's song for EFT. So I couldn't get the shampoo out of my hair fast enough, because I did figure out this is not outside the window, this is in my head. And got out and started to write down these little lyrics. And actually, there's like, there's 7 days of lyrics, and there's almost like there's 27 or 28 different little verses. So needless to say, I didn't get them all down on that first shot. And for a week or a week and a half, they kept coming back to me as clear as a bell. I can't even tell you.
Really divinely inspired. I did download it to you.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. I mean, I had never. I mean, I always felt, like I always had the, let's put it this way. I think I've always had it, but never had a clear enough head to listen to it. Okay, so I finally was clear enough to hear the message, but the message came through really, really clear. So it was not a matter of thinking, okay, this is silly. It was like, holy cow, this is wild.
And you've never written a song before?
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh, no. No. I can rhyme a little, but no, I've never anything like this. So
wow.
Anyway, so during the course of that week and a half or so, I got all the little lyrics down, and the melody was like embedded in my head. I mean, it wasn't something I was going to forget, the melody. I don't know how else to explain it. It just was. It was there, and it wasn't going anywhere. So I put them into a very rough format. I mean, I just basically line by line put them down on paper, typed them in and got them set up, but I had no idea what to do with it. So I, kept asking through meditation, because I meditate every day and was in the discipline of meditating each day. And, meditating was just spending some quiet time, and for some direction, and wasn't really feeling pressed to do anything but get it all down. And so I put it into a file. And that was about, that would be 3 years ago this January. And was working, and am still working on another project, okay, and then, I have a full-time job, but was working on another project that I am being led to look into, and never really, I would think of the song and would ask if for direction, and then, how would you say this? Let's see, in February, how I lovingly refer to the cosmic 2x4, smacked me in the head, and it was very apparent the time was now for the song. So there was no denying it was time to pull the song out. So,
you gotta love those cosmic 2x4s.
Oh boy, yes, yeah. I always ask for clear. I always want a very obvious, clear sign, but, that 2x4 is like, okay, yeah, I get it. Thank you. And so since, let's see, February that happened. So pulled it out, said, okay, what do I do? And I am telling you, it has been the craziest, most phenomenal ride since then. Our illustrator, Chris Rickey, this young man from Phoenix who's 25 and just a phenomenal, gifted person, walked into my life through a referral. The minute we sat down and started talking, and he said that everything that has ever experienced in his life, he remembers in the colors that surrounded him. He can remember every color people were wearing, what was on the walls, the furniture, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is, what is a children's book? It's color, so. And because I knew I had to write a book, that became very, very apparent that the book was to go with the songs and was to explain EFT and to be they go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. I had started, I had a few sessions to open up my creativity with another wonderful person here in Phoenix, Mary Godfrey, and it turned out she's been in music, she's an artist, she ended up producing the song, and she had walked into my life 2 months before the Cosmic 2x4, and I started telling her about this project, and she's like, Debbie, I can produce the song. That's what I'd done for years. So
all the right people showed up.
It has been amazing. It is just, it's beautiful because it's so divinely led. And my job is to keep my head out of it and stay clear and stay open and in the heart. And then I think for me, and I think this is something a lot of us are feeling at this point in time, the universal timetable is not necessarily our timetable. and that's a difficult one for me. I really have to.
Yes.
That's a challenge because, I used to be one of these people who, if I was going from A to B, move out of my way, I'm coming through, and I so chuckle now because I am getting so good at sitting back and just taking the ride, and the ride's better than I would have directed it. That's the most interesting part of it. So it's an amazing experience to be in flow and doing a project of this magnitude. Because
I love that description. That's really important message for people because when you are working with spirit in flow and you're inspired action and everything just lines up and the right people and the right timing, and it is an extraordinary feeling. So thank you for bringing that to our audience because that is it's possible for everyone when you tap in the way you have. So excellent.
And I think we're all being called. I mean, this is it's interesting. The more I talk to people and the more events that I have gone to that call me, and that's another thing. When I really feel I'm being like I'm listening to something or I'm reading something and I'm feeling a need to, like contact that coach or contact this person. If it's really tugging at me, I do it. And I'll tell you, that has been very powerful because that's that intuitiveness that we somehow all step away from when we're on the hamster wheel. And have to find our way back to be able to feel that again, and that has been it's a wonderful gift, and that intuitiveness is what has helped me step through this and be able to be clear enough and trust it, and that's I think. That's a biggie,
And Debbie, I'm feeling this is another book for you to write about this.
Very well might be.
Yes, I think so. Because it's important to know that this is the time where people do need to be in touch with their intuition and to be able to bring their gifts to the world because people are being asked to step up and to share their messages. And so many people, like you said, are on the hamster wheel and that the messages are coming, but they're not hearing it because they're so distracted. So being able to practice as you did, to get so centered and to be able to hear what you were supposed to do, and then to have an amazing process of putting this together. What a life you've been living.
It's a dream. I mean, it is absolutely a dream. And the things that used to just tweak the heck out of me, I'm almost like, if I could have learned this 30 years ago, I was like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing because so much of the craziness falls away. I don't know how else to say it. That life craziness ends up just kind of melting away if you're in that flow and you're in that balance, and you can clearly see the path, and it's just, and when you're in that joy, and I think that's the thing that I would really also like to make sure that the message we get across here together is that we should be happy. There should be joy in your life. And I don't know where those wires got crossed, because so many people you run across are just trying to hold on until they can retire, or trying to do this until this happens, or whatever, not enjoying themselves, not happy, not in any state of euphoria at all. And it's so incredibly sad, because they're settling, and we've almost been programmed to think that's normal. Mm-hmm. And that is really incredibly sad.
Yes.
Because if you are not happy, you can't come forward with gifts. You can't find that flow. You're not in trust. You're reactive instead of proactive. It's such a difficult place to be. And unfortunately, in business, you see so many people in that place, and yes, especially as with the challenges that are going on in the financial world and so on, and so many people worrying about the what ifs, and we can't control the what ifs. I mean, all we can do is be in this present moment, and that's where the control is, and how we view that. So
and that's so true, Deb, because I work with so many people, and that is the issue, is for people to realize that is the point of life, is to feel good and to be happy and to focus on what you do have and the abundance of life, as opposed to the lack and what you don't have or you don't want, which is what we've really been conditioned to do. So it is an incredible shift, and look what you've been able to create by getting there and finding your own joy and finding this book. So tell us more about the book and the song and how it helps children.
Okay. Well, our book is Tapping Play, Create Your Happy Rainbow Days. And this book accompanies these songs. And there are 7 songs. There is a song for each day of the week. And these 5 verses that are sung each day of the week actually take about a little over 3 minutes. So we didn't want to make it long, and that it's such a happy, fun tune that little ones, it keeps their attention. So, because that's the most important thing is, we want to keep their attention. It's a daily process, and every tune or every verse in here is talking about I am a happy child. I am a loving child. I am a creative child. I am a joyful child. I am bright and full of light. I let go from head to toe. I am free being me. So those I am affirmations are so incredibly powerful. And this is setting the stage for these little ones or young ones to embrace who they are, what they are, which is a spark of divine, and honor it and love it and be happy that they're unique and different. And that they and have all these beautiful things about themselves. It's if children are taught, and children are little sponges, to love and embrace themselves and embrace their uniqueness, when you're in a state of love, you cannot be in a state of hate. And, you know, you think of the problems in schools with bullying at young ages and so on. Those little children who are bullying, they don't love themselves. So they're taking it out on other little ones. And so when the song downloaded, it was all these I am phrases. Then in February, I knew I had to get on the docket and start getting things together. I had no characters. All of the characters came to me in visual dreams. I mean, living color. So little Annabelle, our free-spirited tapping guide, came to me one night, and I guess I was laughing all night in my sleep. In the morning, my husband was like, you are really weird. He said, I love you, but you're a little strange. You were laughing the whole night. So she was flying through my head. So I knew that she was one of the characters. And then Billy
so adorable.
Thank you. And then Billy and Franny came to life through another dream about a week later. And then, of course, the illustrator was ready to rock. And, it's a challenge to get something out of your head onto paper that looks like what's in your head and to explain that. But he and I are definitely on this journey together for a reason, and he was able to take what I gave him and came up with the exact characters that were flitting around in my dreams. So our little Annabelle and Franny and Billy, Annabelle creates the happy word of the day, which, on Monday, for instance, is, hang on here, we've got, is happy, because we're a happy child that day, and Tuesday is loving, and Wednesday's creative, and joyful comes next, and then free being me, and I love myself. And then Billy and Franny are illustrating and showing the tapping points. And the other thing that is unique about this situation is the tapping points are colored hearts. That became very apparent to me in a dream one night. And those colored hearts, we color-coded the words of the song to the hearts, so they are the same. So the verse that goes with tapping on your eyebrow point, actually is color-coded. So the words are color-coded to that heart. So we've made it very easy for children or adults to follow along on the tapping points. So if people have questions on the tapping points, I would suggest they get online and go to, there's so many sites on EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, and they can, see these tapping points and so on. So the book started to come together, through these different, I don't have another way of saying it. It's really dreams and vision, and the little characters started to take on a little life of their own. And then in the interim, we were working on the 7 songs, and Mary, her talent is just, her talent's as great as her heart, and that's saying a lot. She found or knew this young gal here in Phoenix, Sydney Taylor, who sings our song. And what a darling, beautiful young woman she is. She's 14, and she's just perfect for this scenario. I felt so comfortable and confident with putting this in Mary's hands. I didn't even show up at when they produced the song. I didn't even need to be there. I knew I knew I had it where it was supposed to be, and that's part of the trust process, to be able to delegate and surround yourself with the right people and delegate and allow it to unfold. I couldn't have added anything to that. My background is in music, and she had the melody. We had gone through that. We had the words down, so I let it go, and it was more beautiful than I could even have imagined.
Wow. And it is, well, the Rainbow Monday song that I've listened to, I played it several times. You don't have to be a little kid to have it make you feel good. I think it's incredible music. It really, she did a beautiful job.
Yeah. It's funny. I have had since we launched, I've had so many comments from people saying they're buying it for their inner child. And I thought, it delights me. I'm just, because, our poor inner childs, I know I can speak from experience. My little inner child had ended up on a shelf and definitely needed to be dusted off when I started back on this journey 10 years ago. Life gets in the way, and the poor little inner child gets put to the side. You almost forget about that poor little inner child. So that warms my heart. I hope it opens up a lot of little inner children, and we'll have a better world, because that's part of finding that balance and flow.
Absolutely, and I think that it's a really good point, because that's why it appeals to everyone, because we all have that child in us, and most of us have our inner child that didn't get quite as much love and joy as it should have as a child, and so it really does awaken sense of you can't help but smile, and it just makes you feel good. So, not only good for kids, but young and old, right? Whoever listens to it. There you go.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to make sure that we talk about a little is the tapping and the age for the small ones, because as you said at the beginning, my little apple of my eye, Westmall, is 9 months old, our little grandson, and he loves the music, the beat, the melody, and so on. And he can't tap at this point. They don't have to be. They're hearing these positive words. These little ones are like sponges. These I am phrases, this happiness. As you step through the process of the I am phrase, I'd like to go through the first day's phrases, okay, and just
please, that would be great.
The first day, the verse, and the first verse for day one, and I'll step through the tapping point too, so that for people who understand EFT. Whoops, and hello.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Oh, you're there. Okay, sorry.
Yep, okay. Debbie? Hello? Oops. We lost Debbie. All right, so hang on here. I'm sure she's going to come back. All right, we'll come back in a moment. Don't know if let me just see if we can try to play the song while she's gone. So let me see if it'll actually work. I'm not doing well with that either. Oops.
Hello?
Hello, are you back?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
We lost you for a minute there.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gone.
I'm glad you came right back, though. That's okay. It happens. It gets dropped, and so it's live interviews. You never know, so that's okay. So you were talking about the song,
yeah,
and the words.
Yeah, the words to we'll do the first verse, and I'll just go through the tapping points. It's above the eyebrow, and it's I am free, and the side of the eye, being me.
Being me.
Yeah, and then under the eye is I'm a happy child.
I'm a happy child.
And then under the nose is I am free.
I am free.
And then under the chin, being me.
Being me.
And then on your collarbone, I'm a happy child.
I'm a happy child.
And then I deeply, and that is under your arm, like
I
on
deeply.
the side of your, a little below your armpit. And then on top of head is and completely.
And completely.
Love myself. And that's a big hug.
Love myself. That's great.
So, like our little Westmall, for instance, he's not tapping and hugging himself. His grandma's hugging him, though. I give him a lot of hugs. But he's hearing these great, wonderful words. I am free, being me. I'm a happy child. I am free, being me. I'm a happy child. I deeply and completely love myself. Every verse, every day, is I deeply and completely love myself. Think of how powerful that is, because, if these little ones learn this and it's just normal to love themselves, wow, what a deal, So children, when he gets a little bigger, he can, he could be tapping on his toe. It doesn't matter. He could be just dancing around, movement, just singing it, moving. Music moves the soul. And so for these little ones, there is no right or wrong, and I want to make sure I make that really clear. We give the fundamentals of the emotional freedom technique because it will be a tool the children can use in the future. But if they aren't at an age where they can do it or they don't choose to, they know what feels good, but they're hearing these great positive things every day. And my hope and prayer is that the moms or dads or the grandparents will also be singing along with them, and they'll get something wonderful out of it too, because we can all use a happy 3 minutes, so it's
we can all use a happy 3 minutes. So what age group have you found that kids actually get the tapping process? Is there a particular age that would work?
I'll tell you, when people go to our web, tappingplay.com, we did a video. And yes, the video people walked into my life also. So yeah, and they did a phenomenal job. The video, the one thing that I insisted on is that it was not rehearsed. So we brought in children from 3, and our oldest is 10. And a couple of the older ones had been exposed to EFT a couple times before, but they were not exposed to it with this song, okay? I wanted it to be organic. I wanted it to be real. And you can see in the video, the little 5-year-olds, after a couple times around, they totally have it down. Now, a couple of them aren't doing it. They're dancing around. One of the little guys is pulling on his karate belt that he insisted on wearing to this thing. And, I loved it. It's perfect. It's exactly the way it should be. They know what feels good, but they're hearing it. They're taking it in. They're absorbing it. They're
getting benefit regardless of whether they do it correctly or not. It's just the energy of it that they're picking up.
Truly, and one of the little boys in our, which I didn't know till afterwards, actually, was autistic that was there, and it was one of the first times. This warmed my heart. It was one of the first times his mom's ever been able to leave him in a room with quote unquote strangers, because we all didn't know him and he didn't know us. And he was fine. And he's the little star of the show, hugging himself, turning around, laughing, having a wonderful time. So that tells me exactly what I have been given in my, I don't know, downloads or my meditations is there is a phenomenal energy to this song and book. And I'll tell you, I feel so incredibly privileged to be the one that's bringing this concept forward for, you know, our little ones and our young ones. So it's hard. It just I can't even put into words how privileged I feel. So.
I could see that. You're going to affect so many people around the world. The children with all different issues of helping them, but also the parents and the grandparents and teachers. And you've created something that is going to make a huge impact for the world. So congratulations,
well,
Debbie. It's really extraordinary, and I can imagine how you feel being able to bring this gift to the world. Can you tell us how the book launch is going? And it just came out in November, right?
It came out the week of Thanksgiving. The launch was interesting because our publicist, oh my gosh, my phone's dying. Hold on. What's with this technology here? There we go. Okay. The publicist was introduced to me about 4 weeks before the launch, and we were trying to get things put done and so on. But when I met her and we talked, I knew this was the route we needed to go. So the most wonderful part of it, it made us put a boot in it, and we got everything done we needed to get done, which was finishing the web, finishing the video, you know, and moving things along. The launch has gone very well. It's very steady sales. The challenge is always getting the word out, and that's why I feel so honored, and thank you so much for being one of those terrific, wonderful people who are helping us do that. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that, for helping to expose and get that, you know, get it out to your group and your tribe. You know,
it's an honor because it's extraordinary work, and I love it myself. So
well,
it's got to be a huge impact on so many people, Debbie. So a definite honor.
Well, thanks. And so it's gone very well. We launched on Amazon. Our video is on YouTube and also on our web. And as I said, the sales are steady. The responses from people is what I mean. I've been a weepy, wipey mess because I get these heartfelt emails, and I just. It's moving. It's moving. People are so thankful to have something to give the grandkids or to give their children to help them. It's a tool. This is a tool for their tool belt, is what it is, for their little tool belt, and it's one that they can keep there forever. So, and that's, I think, just the most amazing thing about what we're doing here and this work. So it's I'll tell you, as I said, I'm on this phenomenal flow ride, and I just have I have my seatbelt on and my hands raised in the air, and I'm just going wee all the way. So
I can see that with a big smile. How can you not smile with this ride you're on? It is incredible.
It is.
Devin, tell people again how they can get the book and how about the website again to make sure that people know how to do this.
It is our website is tappingplay.com. So that's TAPPING play PLAY.com. And the video is on there. There's a button to go to Amazon, or you can go directly to Amazon, and we are it's Tapping Play on Amazon.com. And we are the #1 bestseller in creative visualization. So I'm excited.
Wow!
About
Congratulations!
That. Thank you. So that's really I love that category. I think it really is. It just says it all about the book, you know. So.
And can you explain now? People get the book, and how do they get the songs, and how does that work?
Okay, so they purchase the book, and when they get the book, they will go back to our website. They will hit the download song button. They will go in and fill out their information, and on page 2 in the book is a code. And that code, and it's very obvious where you put the code, will take them to the songs. So that's the key to get them into the song area. So
okay.
Okay, and so we wanted to make this very, very affordable. So the book and the 7 songs is $14.95. I wanted to make sure people
very
could
affordable.
Afford,
that's so great.
Yeah, could afford it. And the book is 42 color. It's a fully illustrated book and 42 pages. So there's 2 pages or 4 pages for each day with the song. The entire song spelled out, it's there with the music and everything and the characters and so on. So it'll keep the children's attention also. So we have future projects, too. I'd just like to quickly state that we're working on.
I was going to ask you. Tell us about what's going on.
Well, we're working on a series of books that I've already been given the information for the first one, and it will be to teach children how to let go of an emotion, just a very simple little tapping process. So most books for adults or children are when they have a lot of muck they're trying to dig their way out of. This is to help a child recognize what the emotion is, because sometimes they don't even know what the emotion is, and just tap it off. So there'll be a series. The first one is Ocean of Emotion, and that's going to be for sadness, and it's going to be totally all color and pictures, and it's so incredibly cool. And Annabelle will come in and help our little Billy character tap through just a very simple of just, I'm sad. So the children, if they learn this, the minute they're feeling one of these emotions, they'll get to a point their body will respond. They can just tap on one point and it'll let it go. And so they won't carry any of this stuff on into the future. So
what an incredible world that these kids will have if they don't carry all this stuff from their childhood.
Just think of the gifts they'll bring forward. I mean, they won't have to go find them. They'll be tapped into them from the beginning. So, yeah.
What a gift. That's so great.
Well, I'll tell you, thank you. You're a gift. Thank you so much for this opportunity. This is meeting people like yourself it's just part of the joy that I'm having with this ride that I'm on, and I thank you.
Well, it was meant to be that we would get together, and when I saw your stuff, I was like, and you sent me this song, I was like, this woman this is definitely inspired, and this information has to get out there, and I'm just, like I said, thrilled and honored to be part of your launch and getting this message to as many people as possible. So where would we end tonight, Debbie? Do you have some thoughts, the final thoughts for people in terms of the work or the future, or what would you like to say to the crowd for an ending?
Well, I think my final statement would be we are definitely in the shift, and the time is now. Now is when to step up, let go, allow, trust, flow, and have gratitude. We're there. It's right now. So I wish you all love and light and happiness. Thank you.
Beautiful. Definitely love and light. And I want to thank you again, Debbie, for being here tonight and with this interview. And to end tonight, just to say again, this is Cecily MacArthur and with the Light Beam Hour, and we would just send our blessings to everyone tonight. And thank you all for being with us. Take care now. Bye-bye.